She was screaming in my face right there in the middle of the ER waiting room, demanding I give up my seat. Her hot pink blazer was practically glowing under the fluorescent lights, and her manicured finger was inches from my nose as she yelled, "You're taking up space my daughter needs." 10 minutes later, that same woman was being escorted out by security while the entire waiting room laughed. And she had no idea she'd just picked a fight with the head of surgery. It started like any other Thursday at St. Mary's Regional Hospital. I had just finished a 14-hour shift, 2 back-to-back surgeries, 1 appendectomy, 1 car crash, trauma case, and I was running on caffeine and sheer survival instinct. My scrubs were still cold from the OR, my brain foggy but wired, and all I wanted was 10 quiet minutes before heading home. I sat in the ER waiting room, scrolled through patient notes on my phone, and waited for my colleague, Dr. Patel. The room was half full, an old man with an ice pack, a mom with restless kids, a teenager with a cast. Normal chaos, nothing dramatic. Then the doors swung open and the chaos found me. She came in like a storm. Tall, blonde, mid-40s with oversized sunglasses on her head and a purse that looked like it came straight from a knockoff luxury boutique. The click of her leopard print heels echoed across the tile floor like gunfire. You could feel the energy shift. People instinctively turned their heads. She walked straight to the front desk and declared, "My daughter needs to be seen immediately. She's in pain." The receptionist, bless her soul, stayed calm and professional. "Ma'am, what's the nature of the emergency?" "She has a splinter," the woman snapped. "And we've been waiting in the parking lot for 5 minutes deciding if we should come in." A splinter. I almost choked on my coffee. The receptionist explained the triage system. Critical patients first, non-emergencies would need to wait. That's when the woman's tone went nuclear. "Do you know who I am? I'm on the Hospital Foundation donor list. I gave $50 last year." $50. I swear I could hear the janitor in the hallway trying not to laugh. The receptionist politely said the wait would be around 45 minutes. That's when the woman started scanning the room like a predator looking for prey. Her eyes locked on me, slouched in my seat, exhausted in scrubs that had definitely seen better days. I guess I looked like easy prey. She strutted over her teenage daughter trailing behind, clearly mortified. "Excuse me," she said, hands on her hips. "You need to move." I blinked, thinking maybe I misheard her. "Sorry, what?" "This seat. My daughter needs it. She's a patient. You're just sitting here on your phone like this is a coffee shop. Hospital employees shouldn't be taking up space meant for actual patients." There were at least 17 empty seats around us. I looked at her calmly and said, "Ma'am, there's plenty of room. Your daughter can sit anywhere." "Wrong answer." Her face, twisted lips trembling with outrage. "I don't care what you're waiting for. Show some compassion." Her voice echoed off the walls. The entire waiting room went silent. For a second I thought about getting up, avoiding the scene, but then I remembered the 12-hour trauma case, the blood, the adrenaline, the fact that I hadn't eaten in 8 hours, and something inside me said, "No, not today." So I looked up and said, "Ma'am, I'm not moving. Your daughter can sit anywhere else, but I was here first." That's when she exploded. "You're getting fired for this attitude. Give me your badge number." My badge was in my locker. I just smiled slightly and said, "You're welcome to file a complaint." She turned to the receptionist, voice rising to an operatic level. "Are you seeing this? Your employee is refusing to help a patient. This is harassment. I want security." The poor receptionist tried to calm her down, but the woman, let's just call her Karen, because of course her name turned out to be Karen, leaned down so close I could smell her perfume. "Listen, you little worker bee," she hissed. "I don't know what minimum wage position you have here, but I know the hospital director personally. When I tell him how you refuse to help a child, you'll be cleaning bedpans by tomorrow." Her daughter's face was bright red, tears in her eyes. Everyone in the room was either staring or pretending not to, phones discreetly recording. Then came my saving grace. Emily, one of the ER nurses I'd worked with that morning. She walked in holding her iPad, took one look at the situation and froze. Her eyes met mine, then flicked to Karen, and I could see the exact moment she realized what was happening. "Ma'am," Emily said cautiously, "is there a problem?" "Yes," Karen snapped, pointing at me. "This employee is taking up a patient's seat and refusing to move. I want her out of here now." Emily bit her lip, trying not to laugh. "Ma'am, I think there's been a misunderstanding." "No, there hasn't. I'm calling the police if you don't." Emily cut her off, her tone calm but firm. "Ma'am, that's Dr. Sarah Chen. She's our head of surgery." It was like someone hit the pause button on reality. The room went silent, then a few gasps, then a muffled laugh from the corner. Karen froze mid-sentence, finger still pointed at me. I stood up slowly, reached for the white coat I'd draped over the next chair, and slipped it on, the one embroidered with Dr. Sarah Chen, head of surgery. I met her eyes and said quietly, "As I mentioned, ma'am, I'm waiting for someone. There are plenty of seats available." Her jaw opened and closed like a fish. "Well, you should have said you were a doctor," she sputtered. "I don't usually need to announce it," I replied. "People tend to recognize respect without titles." Her face turned crimson. "You still shouldn't be taking up patient seating. Don't you have an office?" I smiled, the kind of smile that says, "Keep digging, you're almost at the bottom." "Technically, I'm off duty, but this is a public space and I'm allowed to wait here. Thank you for your concern, though." That's when Marcus, our security guard, showed up, 6'2", built like a wall, calm as ever. "Ma'am," he said, "I'm going to need you to lower your voice. You're disturbing other patients." Karen spun toward him. "She started it. She's disrespectful." Marcus held up a hand. "Dr. Chen hasn't violated any policy. You've been offered several seating options. If you continue yelling, I'll have to ask you to leave." "Leave," she shrieked. "My daughter needs medical attention." Marcus looked down at the girl who sheepishly held up her bandaged finger. "Your daughter can be seen when her name is called," he said gently. "Or you can visit urgent care, but you can't harass staff." The silence that followed was broken by the daughter whispering, "Mom, Dad's an accountant." And that was it. The whole room erupted. People were covering their mouths, trying not to laugh. One elderly woman actually clapped. Karen's face went purple. "Fine. This hospital is a disgrace. You'll all hear from my husband." She grabbed her daughter's arm and stormed out, heels clicking furiously, pink blazer flapping like a flag of defeat. As the doors closed behind her, someone in the back yelled, "Promise," and the whole room cracked up. Marcus turned to me, smirking. "You good, Doc?" I nodded. "Yeah, that was something." He laughed, even for a Thursday. That night when I finally got home, I couldn't stop replaying it in my head. Part of me felt angry that people like her still thought they could treat healthcare workers like trash. But part of me, honestly, part of me felt tired. There was a moment in that room before Emily walked out where I almost gave up and stood just to end the confrontation. I even thought, maybe I really am being rude, maybe I should just move. But then I remembered the faces of the 2 patients I'd operated on that day. Remembered the nurses, the techs, the janitors, all of us who show up day after day doing our best while being screamed at by people who think money or status makes them superior. That's when I decided, no, I wasn't the problem. Entitlement was. The next morning I got an email from the hospital director asking me to stop by his office. For a second my stomach dropped. She actually filed a complaint. I walked in ready to defend myself, but he was already laughing. "Sarah," he said, "I watched the footage. You handled that better than I would have." He showed me Karen's online complaint, 847 words of pure rage. She accused me of being unprofessional, disrespectful, and too young to be head of surgery. He shook his head. "For the record, she's banned from filing any further complaints unless there's an actual medical concern." I couldn't help but laugh. "What happened to her daughter's splinter?" "They left without being seen," he said. "Hopefully urgent care had more patients than we did." 2 weeks later at a hospital fundraising gala, I spotted her again. Karen Mitchell wearing a $1,000 sequin gown, clutching a champagne flute, surrounded by other socialites. The second our eyes met, her face froze. She turned and walked the other way. When the hospital director took the stage and said, "Let's thank our incredible surgical team led by Dr. Sarah Chen," I swear I saw her physically flinch. She left right after the applause. But the story didn't end there. 3 months later, her daughter came to my clinic for a school sports physical, pure coincidence. When she saw me, her eyes widened and she turned bright red. "Dr. Chen," she said softly, "I'm really sorry about my mom. She's just a lot." I tried to stop her that day. I smiled. You don't need to apologize for her. You did nothing wrong. She hesitated, then said, Actually, you made me want to go into medicine. I thought what you did was amazing. And right there, after everything that made it worth it. Because sometimes the loudest people in the room are also the most wrong. And sometimes the quiet, exhausted one in scrubs is exactly who they shouldn't mess with. So here's the lesson. Don't judge people by their appearance. Don't assume someone's beneath you. Because the worker bee you're yelling at might just be the one holding the scalpel when it's your life on the line.